Right, Sam. Thank you. Thank you, Elijah. Thank you, Victoria. Trying to think I can see myself. I wasn't seeing myself for a bit. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Without further ado, I'm going to be talking about the topic for our webinar this month. This month, we are
Okay, I think Christine is having a bit of um issues with her internet. So while we wait for her, um we are still taking in the names. Kindly drop your names and where you are joining us from in the chat box. Kindly drop your name and where you're joining us from in the chat box. Um, okay, can see Abayomi from Lagos. I can see mm, okay, this is Ovaj from Canada. I can see Betty from Highland. You're welcome, Betty. I can see Victoria from Lagos. Let it keep coming in, your name and where you're joining us from. You can see Antonia from Lagos. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can see Itunu from UK. Hi, Itunu. How you doing? Thank you for joining. Thank you. So tonight we are going to be talking about, how you can invest in real estate. Mr. Eva, can you please mute? Can you please mute? All right. All right. Thank you. Yeah, so tonight we're going to be talking basically having conversations around, what you should do to avoid being scammed, especially for those in the diaspora, Nigerians in the diaspora who would have heard a lot of stories how people invested and some years down the line, they couldn't even get their money back. It's one thing that the property you can't find the property anywhere. It's another thing that you can't also get your money back, right? So tonight we're going to be having conversations around, what people go through. One, identify the problems, and then we then have conversation around how you can avoid those problems, how you can still invest in Nigeria and you are doing it correctly, you are doing it, you are doing it safe, right? So this is what we're going to be talking about tonight. And with me tonight, I have Mrs. Tope Obashemola. Mrs. Tope Obashemola is um, a seasoned project consultant in Canada, and she's going to be bringing the perspective of how Nigerians in the diaspora think, the fears, the concern, the things that makes Nigerians in the diaspora skeptical. You hear things like, I don't want to invest in Nigeria. Naira is crashing every day. You're going to be hearing from the perspective of Nigerians in the diaspora, like what exactly are your fears? It's important that we know how Nigerians in diaspora are thinking. What exactly are the issues, so we can then know how to, profile the solution. And also, to me, on this call, I have Mr. Bayo Yuba. Mr. Bayo Yuba is a seasoned architect with over 10 years 15 years of experience in the construction space. He's the managing partner of Frederick and Co. Construction Company, and he has been he has been the team lead of so many construction estates, individual development in Nigeria. So he's going to be giving us the perspective of what developers are facing and how you can also identify the right developer to invest your money, into their project, and how you can also identify developers that you need to run away from. Also with me tonight, I have Christine. She ought to be doing this, but I needed to step in for her, but she's back. She's going to be taking this role back from me because I did not prepare to do this. So Christine is the moderator for tonight. Christine Ogudikbe is our moderator for tonight. And my humble self, Olamide Onosami, I am the CEO and founder of FineNigerianProperty.com. It's a trademark company under FNP Property Development Company, and we are the first prop tech company in Nigeria that is self-regulated, ensuring that um, not just people in the diaspora, every Nigerian who is interested in um, in investing in real estate in Nigeria, do it correctly, do it right, and get something that you can look back and say, thank God I did it. So that's what FineNigerianProperties.com stand for. So we say we are your credibility partner. Whether you want to build, whether you want to buy, we are your credibility partner. So I hand over to Christine. Thank you very much for
Oh,
joining
that
the
was
tonight.
fantastic. Thank you so much, Mrs. O. I appreciate you stepping in. My network is blessed. Apologies, everyone. We're in Nigeria. We know how we roll here, right? But yeah, thank you once again. You are on the webinar call for what are the smart ways to build or buy property abroad, right? Those are that is the central theme that we're going to be looking at. The questions you have around how do I buy property? Who do I know? What agent should I use? Who can answer my questions? How do I not get scammed? How do I not lose money? What kind of property options are available? Those are the kind of questions we are getting into tonight. And the beautiful part of tonight's session is because, like Mrs. O already said, we have a balanced perspective on of speakers, right? We have a project consultant as a speaker, and we have an architect that's worked for years, in the construction business as a speaker. So you're going to be getting unbiased view, people's actual experiences, people's lived experiences, things that happen in the market. Because one of the ways to make informed decision in life is to have the right information. So what this webinar is for you tonight is access to the right information to help your decision making process. Again, the topic we are getting into tonight is the smart way to build or buy property abroad without losing money or getting scammed. Thank you again, everyone. Let me see what's going on in the chat box. Where are you people joining from? I'm joining from Lagos, Nigeria. I understand that we have diasporans on the call. Might be afternoon or morning on your end. Thank you once again for joining the call. If you have any questions, right, for protocol's sake, before we introduce the speakers and get into conversations, right, with the speakers, if you have any questions as the session proceeds, kindly put it in the chat box. We'll attend to them, and would also give you the opportunity to unmute yourself and ask your questions directly. But throughout the course of this interaction, it's going to be interactive and it's going to be engaging and enriching. So please take notes. If you have any question for that line, kindly take note of it and put it in the chat box. We'll definitely attend to your question. Thank you so much. So without taking much of our time, I'm going to invite our speakers so that we can get into this conversation. Who is ready for me? Who is ready for this? So that we can get into the conversation, right? That's what we are here for. That's what we came for. Thank you, everyone. All right. I have the pleasure of introducing Madam Temitope Obashemola. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Madam Temitope is a project consultant based in Ontario, Canada. She believes in Nigeria and also believes investment in real estate in Nigeria is a good decision when done. Remember what I said. The essence of today's webinar is to give you access to the right information. And Mrs. Temitope Obashemola is going to be doing justice to that because she already believes in real estate. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me give her the room to say one or two things before I introduce the next speaker. Mrs. Temitope, please go for it.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much to FNP. Thank you to my friend and the CEO, Mrs. Lamide Onasam, for inviting me. I'm excited for this conversation. I think a lot of us are. We always want to invest, we want to build wealth, and real estate is one sure way. So, and for diasporas, for Nigerians in diaspora, everybody still has this tie to home, and investing in Nigeria is one of those opportunities that we seek. So it's going to be an interesting conversation to learn more on how we can do that. Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, ma'am. On to our next speaker. I have architect for joining the call. Architect, I don't know if Mrs. O had read your profile, but I would love to read, just a part of it as you come up as well to give us one or two statements just before we get into our conversation. Architect Adebayo Cuba, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, has vast years of experience in construction space. So we're going to be getting balanced perspective tonight. We're eating good stuff on this webinar. Please go for it, sir. 1 or 2 seconds. Thank you. Hi, are you on the call with us, sir?
I think he dropped off, maybe
Hello.
internet issues.
Oh, okay. So, Nigerian guys, Nigeria, bear with us. I'm sure architects would join quickly. And of course, we have the phenomenal Mrs. Olamide Onasomi. Yay! She's the CEO of Fine Nigerian Properties. And our perspective is going to be, as the bridge, and solution provider for both those that are looking to invest and those that are looking to get into real estate investment and purchase properties, right? Our perspective is going to be on the ground boots. We are in Nigeria. We know what's happening here. Oh my God. We know what's happening here. And so we can give immediate, we can tell you what it is here, and we can tell you pitfalls to avoid, things not to do, and things to do as well, and equally let you know the solutions we have on ground that's available that you can immediately maximize. So, Mrs. O, please, 1 or 2 seconds from you.
All right, thank you very much, Christine. My name is Olamide Onosami. Like I said before, I've been into real estate for almost a decade now, and I love helping people buy properties. I love helping people sell properties. I love um, advising people on where to buy and where not to buy because the truth is a lot of people, when you hear property investment, just the first thing you're thinking about is looking at how much it is. And I tell you, that's not even the first thing to consider when it comes to investment. So basically, I love real estate investment. I believe real estate investment is one of the best investments that you should get yourself into, irrespective of where you are in any part of the world you are. And I've been on this journey for a while, and that's one of the reasons why FindNigerianProperty.com was instituted to help more people do it right. Apparently, it came by through a close friend experience of investing in a property with a reputable company, and still she didn't get both the property and our money. So we are going to be having a rich conversation tonight about how you can do it right, irrespective of where you are in the world. Thank you. Thank you for joining tonight. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Chris.
Thank you, Mrs. O. We appreciate your intro and your interest in the real estate market. I can see that Architect Yuba is back. 1 or 2 seconds from you, sir. We already introduced you and the many projects you've been involved with in the construction industry. I'd like to hear 1 or 2 takes from you and get started into our conversation. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Christine. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining in the world. As introduced, my name is Architect Adibayo Yuba. I'm the founding partner and managing partner of Frederick & Co. Construction Limited. I've been in this space for about 16 years now, and I'm honored to be here. I hope I'll be able to answer your questions and clear doubts in any case of doubts. And I hope we'll be able to build some trust between every other person here, especially on the platform where we have been honored to be and privileged to be invited to today. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. As a reminder to everyone, because I can see people are joining the call, you are on the FNB monthly webinar series, FNP monthly webinar series, and today we're going to be talking about the smart way to build or buy property abroad without losing money or getting scammed. I'd like to start with Mrs. Temitope. You know, when we think about the diasporans, like you said earlier that we all have ties, we still have ties one way or the other to Nigeria, right? So the fact that we live abroad now does not mean that um, that's all there is to us. So we don't have heritage or roots back at home. Some of our family members still live in Nigeria. You know, we still visit our people back at home. So for someone that lives in the diaspora, what are the things, you know, that come up that are usually top of mind from your point of view for them when it comes to real estate investment back at home? What are their considerations? What are the things they are thinking about? What brings up that decision to say, oh, I'm considering real estate. I don't have all the answers, but these are my thoughts.
Okay, thank you so much, Christine. Um, like you said, like I said, Nigerians, me at least, I'm a Nigerian diaspora, and the first thing is that everybody wants to build wealth. Everybody wants to increase their earnings or their income, and we know that real estate is one way to do that. And because some of us, or even a lot of us, our we have more knowledge even of the Nigerian market or the Nigerian business. We've been there. You still want to do something at home, right? And we also know that even in terms of investing or in terms of buying properties or buying houses, it's almost even in terms of the affordability, it's almost cheaper in Nigeria versus abroad. For example, around my area where I stay now, if you want to buy a house, you are going to be looking at an average of $1 million. Though we know that it's a mortgage system, but that's the actual value of the house versus Nigeria. So yes, a lot of us are I mean, we have interest in um building back home, buying back home, but there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of, I mean, there are a lot of experiences that people have had, including myself, that makes you to question this decision, that makes you to, you don't have all of the answers. They're just not easy to put your hands on, as a Nigerian diaspora. And nobody wants to lose their investment or lose their hard-earned money. So the point of doing the investment is to build more money, make more money, and then you're not sure. So is that uncertainty into the system of the real estate in Nigeria? Those are some of the questions that actually come up. And just like Mrs. Onasami was talking, what, where, who, these questions come up, and I mean, if we are to get to the crux of it, even as a Nigerian in Nigeria, when I was in Nigeria, there's been too many scam opportunity or things that have happened in terms of real estate. And I believe we are going to get into that. So, I mean, just to answer your first question, yeah, these are the things that come up for Nigerians in diaspora that wants to invest in Nigeria real estate.
Thank you so much, Ma. So I'm hearing a lot of questions. I'm hearing things around skepticism. I'm hearing things around, the typical process of decision making. You're thinking about something but you are also having several thoughts, competing thoughts, both positive and negative. My follow-on question to that would, this skepticism we talk about, are they really based on consistent facts, consistent proven facts, or like is it just associated to the industry? So like how, oh, real estate markets. So some persons it can be very ambiguous because they don't know so much about it. Even when you use Google, you just try. Like the only thing you probably know, especially us Nigerian, is what the agents are doing here, the commission where you're trying to get it out. Those are the experiences we can relate to. But I want us to drill down to the skepticism. Is it a recurrent factual thing, or is it just really associated with the real estate industry as a whole in itself? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It's really about real estate in Nigeria. And first off, a lot of people's fingers have been burnt. Me, I have bought properties that I did not find the boundary of the property. People have been burnt, people have tried, and they've lost money, they've lost investments, no property, no money, nothing. And then people have heard stories of people that are also close to them. Before I even moved abroad, my brother, when he was abroad, I tried to help him, did everything that we are supposed to do, lawyer, tried to get the right documents. That's another conversation. You don't even know some of the title documents to even look out for. You know these things, but there's just so much information and no information. Like there's many things you hear, but nothing seems concrete. When you go into, so I remember one experience where my husband and I, we bought a property, we tried to do it right. We got the survey of the land, we did this one, that one. Even the official channels is still not clear, it's still very messy. You will hear that you've done the right thing, then you still hear that it's not the right thing, by this. So there's just not that clarity, there's that fear, because many people have had, if not anybody on this call, they know somebody that has had, they've lost an investment trying to invest, whether buy a property or buy, and then people have even moved from land. I remember one land that we tried to get, they said, okay, if you do the perimeters and put blocks and everything, is a lie. You build wall and gates is still a lie. There is a money left to deal with. They will just tell you it's not even, you did not even buy from the right channel completely. You are completely lost. And then even when these things happen, there's an official process to recover your money or recover the property. It's like, it's a case of, it's a sunk cost. It just goes. And I also know people that, okay, let's not do land. Let's do off plan with a developer. They try to use right developers, the ones that you check, they are there online, they have everything. You even call people that are in Nigeria to help you go to physically see. It still comes to the same thing. So there's really a lot of trust issues into, there's a lot of skepticism just in the real estate, the Nigerian real estate. It is not clear, and it is across Nigeria. It is not just peculiar to one part of Nigeria. Lagos, outside Lagos is the same thing. Of course, it's worse off in Lagos. So yeah, and then also I just also wanted to mention that for Nigerians abroad, it's more difficult, especially you're earning in foreign currency, you have to change. So there's the issue of currency fluctuation, there's the issue of inflation. So remember when USD was like maybe 1,500 and everything? If we had converted money then to Naira, right now it has gone down. So you will be kind of losing money. So, all of those factors really brings those skepticism to people that are abroad. The point I want to just make is that people really, really want to invest in Nigeria, people that are abroad, but they are just not sure. They are not clear. There's too much doubt and there's too much bad experience to go ahead.
Thank you so much for that extensive sharing, Mrs. Tokwe. I'd like to take Architect Huber's thoughts on the same question, just to know, is this narrative the same from your end to architect, as a developer, as someone that works in the construction space, you do projects? Is the narrative Mrs. Temitope has talked about around skepticism, around fraud, around uncertainty, around not knowing where to start from, where to get the correct information, the right documents, the right thing to do? Is the narrative also the same from your end as a developer, sir?
Thank you, Christian. The answer is a straightforward yes, and also a no. Now, let me explain by saying we have different challenges. And when I say we, I'm talking about legitimate developers. So we're going to be categorizing at legitimate and fraudulent, or we'll call them the reckless developers. Now, we, legitimate developers, do what we call the background checks. And what are the background checks? Before you start any construction, you have to know what and where the land comes from. Yes, land is infinite. We all understand that, but you have to check with the authorities. So apart from the survey is one of the least documentation you should bank on if you are trying to acquire property in Nigeria, especially in Lagos. Now, if you acquire any property in Nigeria, one of the questions you should ask is, what are the title documents of this land? One, the title document has to be flawless. It has to be verifiable. And the verifiable kind of documents are the C of O, which is the federal government issued, the governor's consent, state issued. It's a state issued C of O, meaning it is stronger than the federal. People get that. I get a lot of that question. So the governor's consent is a state issued C of O, and it is equally as important as the federal C of O. But in Lagos, it is superior to the C of O. Now, apart from that, you have to clear or a gazette Now, there are also lands we call a gazette, with meaning they are out of government acquisition. The government does not no longer has interest in acquiring that parcel of land or plot, the case may be. Now, for you to now verify, there's something we call charting that needs to be done if you are trying to acquire any property in Nigeria. In Lagos, for instance, you will go to the authorities in Alausa, that's the Ministry of Lands, to confirm that this property, this land, this document, titles that they are giving us is genuine, not looking at the name of the developer initially. I don't want to mention names yet, but there are companies that you see a lot of social media presence, a lot of adverts, a lot of rendered 3D, which is what I would like the diasporans to be careful of. When you are going into property and you see a very attractive rendition, a 3D render that looks amazing, social media presence is being pumped into your face all the time. You need to be wary about such. Be careful how, I'm not saying social media marketing is not good, but I'm saying be careful. You need to do due diligence, which is one of the reasons why I was, in my introduction, I was thanking FNP, because this is a reputable company. I've done business with them as little as it is. And the only thing holding that business right now is documentation checks. You can imagine it's taking us about 4 months to check documents, 4 months to check documents of a certain project. Everything is on ground. We have design, we have buyers, but we need to be sure that what we want to embark on is legitimate and that we are good enough to say, okay, we can put our names on this and it will be a good investment for anybody to buy. So that is one part of it. Another part of it that affects developers is the macroeconomic and inflation volatility of Nigeria. Let me put it in simple English. About 8 years ago, the inflation rate in Nigeria was just about 20%, 27%, and it was stable. What it means is that if I'm buying cement for 1,500 naira, the inflation rate says within this rate, it will increase or decrease by this amount. It should be steady for that number of period. Now, in 2014, entering 2015, just before the election of Buhari, the second term, things flipped a little, but it became stable within about the first 2 quarters of the year. And real estate was a little bit hit, but not as hit as it happened in 2023. In 2023, when this present government came in, prices flipped and inflation rates went skyrocket. Now, let me give an example. I'm on a project in Lagos, somewhere around Shontel, a 2-bedroom apartment that was meant to be sold for 19.5 million. Within the space of 3 years, went from 19.5 million to 61 million. Now, what caused this and what are the things that this macroeconomic volatility costs? It increases the price of materials, the major cost in materials, cement and rebar. Rebar are the iron rods that we all know. Imagine you were buying iron rods for 350,000 per ton, and overnight it went to about 850,000. Within 2 months, it went to 1.5 million. So this was what caused a lot of spikes in property prices. Now, one of the things that I say that this developers, investors in diaspora, one of the things that happen to them is they want to go for not the best, but the cheapest option. For those that are buying offline or they say they want to buy, you will see options of 2-bedroom within the same axis. Somebody selling for 20 million, somebody selling for 25 million. But you now want to go for the one that is selling for 15 million, thinking it is that is the best buy. One of the things that might have happened is they didn't have proper documentation, meaning the building didn't have approval. The title document on the property might be faulty. And how do you get to see this? One of the ways you get to identify this is what they tell you. When you ask for title documents, they'll give you some vague promises and tell you like allocation is in progress, C of O, global C of O is in process. I'm sure why I'm saying this, people that have tried buying abroad would have heard these terms before. Allocation is in progress, C of O is in process. In fact, we have paid for it. I will tell you that anything you get like that, it's a be careful. Don't put your money into such. Wait until you can verify any document before you put your money into any property in Nigeria, and especially Lagos. So if you want to buy any property in Nigeria, one of the two things you will need, apart from the document, is a verifiable platform. Now you can verify the platform. You know that these people only sell genuine property. You have gone there, you've done your checks. Even if they send you something, also do your own individual investigation on that. It is not difficult. It is not difficult at all. And I believe this will come up later on when I can explain further. If there's any other questions, please, you can ask so that other speakers can have their time too. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Architect Hirava was also extensive, right? You've shared your perspective on why people get scammed, people lose money, developers also fail on fulfilling their promises to investors sometimes. And you've also about the economic conditions that affect both buyers as well as developers. Thank you so much. Just a quick reminder to everyone joining this call that our topic again is around the smart way to build or buy property abroad without losing money or getting scammed. If you have any questions during the course of this interaction, please do not forget to put it in the chat box. We will attend to your questions and we'll take your comments as well. Thank you so much. So I want to move on to Mrs. O. So from what Mrs. Temitope had said and what architect has also said, it's seeming as though the narrative is this. We've already agreed that the narrative is the same. People are skeptical when it comes to investment in real estate back at home, right? Because of all of the factors they've both expanded on. My question to you, Mrs. O, is as a credibility partner, that's what FNP is, right? Is all hope lost? I think that's my question, really. Is all hope really lost when it comes to real estate investment for diaspora? Because they are not even based in Nigeria. Architect was saying that make sure you confirm your document. It can take 4 months. Yes, it can take 2 months. Yes, all of that. But they are not even back here in Nigeria. Is all hope really lost when it comes to real estate investment? And Mrs. Temitope already said real estate investment is a sure way. It's one of the paths to wealth generation, to income maximization. We know that, but like, who do we trust and how do we go from here, considering all of this narrative? Mrs. O, please go for it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Christine. Thank you, Mrs. Obashamola and Architect Huber. Thank you so much for that fantastic session. Yes, so I mean, to answer your question, Christine, all hope is not lost. You know, like Mrs. Obashimala said, real estate investing in real estate is one sure way to generate wealth, right? And in any part of the world that you are in, real estate is gold. Yeah, and I know that the issue of investing that a lot of people are skeptical about when it comes to Nigeria context is the trust issue, it's the credibility issue, the legitimacy issue, and that's why, finenigerianproperties.com, was instituted to actually bridge the gap, to actually solve this credibility issue. And how do we do this? We do this by ensuring that, our partners, whether locally or internationally, they do things right. So let me give you an example. And a particular client currently that is not even outside the country, they are in the country and they are looking at, getting a property for their family. They are in their own property at the moment, on the highland, and they want to get something better in Ikoyi and all that. And the wife loved it so much, and we'll be doing a lot of back and forth. It's quite expensive. It's in billions, right? And we were doing a lot of back and forth with the development company and all that. And it got to the point that, okay, the development company agreed on a particular amount. And, they just kept saying, well, when are they going to make payment? When are they going to do this? And, because the wife loves it, the wife is trying to get the husband to, and I said, no. No, we don't do that. If you are coming through us, you can't do that. We would ensure that we verify the property before you go ahead with, yes, they've sent the offer, you are cool and all, it's okay. But you are not going to make that payment until, we go ahead with the verification process and ascertain that the document that the property has, is good enough for you to go ahead with that transaction. Because one of the issues that I have seen, not just with Nigerians in diaspora, it's just what's up with Nigerians in diaspora because they are not here. So it happens to Nigerians in diaspora as well as people who are here, right? Is that a lot of people are being pressured to make payments. You hear things like, I don't want to miss the opportunity. I don't want. There are so many opportunities. Trust me, there are so many opportunities. People are being pressured. In fact, I tell our clients that when you are speaking with a realtor or an agent, as the case may be, and the person is pressurizing you that, oh, there are 10 people that want to buy this property, it's just one unit that is left, tell them to go and sell it to those people. That's what I tell them, to go and sell it. Because if this property is really, really premium and people are really rushing it, how come you still have 10? Right? Tell them to go and sell to those people and don't be pressured to drop your money. Ensure that you carry out your own due diligence. And that's why we are here. That's why Fine Nigerian Properties is here. We are here to help you carry out the due diligence. Don't let anybody pressurize you, even for those who rent houses. I tell people, when you want to rent a house and somebody is pressurizing you that 50 people are on it, 25 people are on it, is the first person. There was a time, I wanted to rent a house, right? And the agent was telling me that I should come and fill a form because 3 other people are there. I said I should fill a form for a house that I have not seen. How? So when the pressure is a lot, it's a red flag. So speaking to the question, which is, do we still have hope? Yes, we have hope. We have hope. I understand that, there are a lot of false people out there. I understand that even CFO, there are CFOs that are not legit. Let me just let us know. There are CFOs that are not legit. And that's why you have to be sure of who you are going through. You have to be sure of the channel you are buying through, the kind of lawyer you are engaging. There are surveillance that that are releasing wrong surveys. There was this particular client that wanted to buy property around Songotedo in on the island here. And he just told me, Olamide, can you help me with verification and all that? And I asked, where exactly is this property? And it's actually, if for those of us that know Lekki, Songotedo, is actually opposite Novara Mall at Songotedo. And the first thing that got me interested was the fact that the amount they were calling for the land, because as at that time, a plot of land in that axis was going for like 30, 35, 40 million. And you are saying that a plot of land, the person should come and buy it for 5 million. I knew it was red flag. I knew it was red flag. And that's one of the issue. Like Architect Bayo mentioned, some people just like cheap things. When something is too cheap, you need to watch it. In that location, they are selling land for like 30, 35, 40, and somebody is telling you to come and buy for 5 because they need money. No matter how distressed the land is, from 30, 35, 40 to 5 million, you should know it's ridiculous. And so there was a lot of, hurry, let them buy, people are on it. I said, just calm down. And by the time I collected the document and did a verification, I realized that that place has actually been apportioned, government has apportioned the place for recreation center. So the person can buy it, it's fine. But in another 5, 10, 15 years, government will come and another government will come and they will say they want to make an amusement park for children there. And there's nothing you can do. So you need to go through the verification process through the right channel. It's not a lot of people can tell you they are verifying, they are doing this, they are doing that, but you need to be sure of the channel that you are going through. And about whether all hope is not lost. You can still invest right in Nigeria. You can still generate wealth through real estate investment in Nigeria. There's a client of mine that I helped to buy a 3-bedroom maisonette in 2023 for 150 million naira. And that maisonette, as at today, is selling for 400 million naira. And no matter how inflation is in Nigeria, right? I mean, 150 to 400 in the space of 3 years or less is not a bad deal. So you can still do it right. You can still get it right. Just ensure that you are going through the right channel. Thank you very much, Christine.
Thank you so much. I love your emphatic yes, all hope is not lost. The clause, however, is you have to go through the right partner. You have to go through the right partner. For everyone in diaspora listening to us, joining this webinar, Fine Nigerian Properties is your credibility partner. Moving on the conversation back to Mrs. Temitope. I have a question, and my question, so for the success stories, and we've talked about the narrative, right? We've talked about the skepticism, right? I want to dwell a bit on the success stories. Did you get it right, Ma, at some point? Or maybe experiences of other people around you, like have other people gotten it right? So when I say have they gotten it right now, I mean real estate investment back at home. And what are the practical steps they took that changed the game? You've moved from bad experiences now to you actually now are investing in real estate back at home. What are the things that helped and what are the success stories you can share with us? Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'm happy that you asked this question because I was going to say that when I spoke first, it all seemed bad news. So, but I personally, we've had a success story. So we didn't give up on the real estate industry in Nigeria or doing real estate business or just buying properties. So we got it right. So I've bought a property that we eventually were able to see the property. It was an off plan, and then we eventually, I mean, it got delivered to us, and even as of now, we've been able to sell it and make money on top of it. So yes, all hope is not lost, just like Mrs. Anasami said. And people are still buying properties and people are still making money buying properties. And I know people as well that are doing, they buy properties, they don't necessarily resell theirs. They've used it for Airbnb, the rentals, and we have companies like FNP closing that gap, especially for people in diaspora. So what happened differently? Just like Mr. Iba said and Mr. Nasami said, you have to go through the right channel, the right people. And she said something when she was talking Mrs. Onosami, that even they can provide for you fake C of O, and those are the concerns really. They can provide for you the fake everything that looks original, that is carrying. So yeah, the that's still the solution. That is what we did. I mean, not giving up hope, still believing in the real estate Nigeria opportunities. And then we did go for an off-plan opportunity and then paid and we got the plan. Now, the developer was giving us updates, they were sending us pictures. We also had relationship with people on ground, that help to physically go into this property to go and look at it. FNP even came and stepped in at some point to find out the real documents for us and do all of these very valuable things. So yeah, that is what eventually worked for us as well, what has been said. So there's still hope. And for those that are Nigeria, real estate is still a way to quickly make money. I mean, we know what real estate is outside Nigeria. It is easier, it is clearer, but it is much more expensive to buy. It takes a bit of settling down, making enough money. So Nigeria is still a definite way to go. And I believe with conversations like this, with more information out there, just like Mr. Eva was sharing that there are some documents you should get. And then I'm hoping that Mrs. Onosami, they can share with us how to go about these verifiable means. There's FNP for sure, but there are still a lot of Nigerians that are still skeptical and they need to trust the system. So it's when people like us, invest and we see that, okay, it went through, we can bring in more people, more trust. It's just I think it's a game of trust and credibility. And I'm glad that is what they are standing for, even if it takes time to verify documents. That is what they are standing for. So that is what we did. And I still believe so much in investing in the real estate business. I still want to do more. And I hope that, there's more information that FNP provides for us and more businesses to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. I love your recap of the question. Moving on to Mrs. O, a follow-up question to what I asked Mrs. Temitope is, because you are in the credibility business, honestly, right? That's what FNP is about, being a bridge to provide clarity, to answer people questions, and to take them through the journey of actual real estate investment without getting scammed and without losing money. So my direct question to you, Ma, is what are the things FNP does, to get investors to trust them? What are the things, specific things? We have investors on this call, right? We have diasporans on this call, and we're saying to them, we've talked about the ills, we're talking about the success stories now. What are the things that you do to ensure that your partners and your investors know that they are truly dealing with a credibility partner and they're not going to have a repeat of their previous experience?
All right, thank you very much, Christine. And thank you, Mrs. Obashimola. Yes, so like I said, FNP is um, your credibility partner. If you're interested in real estate in Nigeria, FNP is where you should start from, right? And what do? We help you from start to finish. Whether you want to build, some people don't want to buy property from the developer, they want to build themselves, but they don't trust family members or friends. Whether you want to build, you want to consult with us, you want us to um, advise you on a construction company, like Frederick and Co. You can advise you can go with this construction company. Sorry, they are trusted, we've used them and all that, we can advise you on the construction company to go with. And we also help you monitor your project from end to end. So for instance, if you come to find-nigerianproperty.com, you want to initiate a project, you want to build yourself, you give us your details, what you want to do. One of our team member will reach out to you, get information, and then we will do the monitoring from end to end. If you want to subscribe to an off-plan project, through find-nigerianproperties.com, for instance, we advise you on how to go about payment. I know, for instance, in US, I don't know if it is the same thing in Canada. I know, for instance, in US, the escrow account thing where you make payments only when the developer has, fulfilled a particular milestone of development. So we advise such to that. Okay, so because we are managing the property in the sense of monitoring what is going on, right? We'll tell you when you should make the next payment. We have that arrangement with any developer. We are advising you to invest into their development. And you don't make payments just because they say you should be making 10 million naira payments every month. We bring we have an agreement with any developer we are suggesting, not your own developer. If it is your developer, I mean, whatever agreement you have with the person is fine. What we will just help you do is to, monitor the project from end to end. But if it is a developer that we are the one suggesting, we will have, an agreement with them that our clients will only make payments when you have made, progress with what you intend to do for a particular milestone. And this is what I mean by that. If you say that this development is going to take 12 months and first to 3 months is going to be foundation, okay, you make the first installment, right? If the foundation is not done, then the second installment should not be made. That's what we do at FNP. And then when it comes to verification process, we work with Alausa for Lagos State. I mean, because we are presently based in Lagos. We work with Alausa ourselves. It's not the one that you will send the document to someone. We go there. We ensure that they are sending. We are seeing it ourselves, right? So we go through that. We go through that rigorous process to ensure that our clients are safe. And then we cancel. The truth is, we can only cancel. Some clients will not still do what you ask them to do. Like, for instance, I don't see why people should buy into properties that don't have at least governor consent. I sincerely, because you just save yourself from all sort of headache. And I don't see why you should buy into properties that don't have building approval. Why? Why should you buy into a property that doesn't have building approval? In fact, those are the two things that you ask. Do they have building approval? Do they have governor consent or global C of O? Or C of O or global, because I mean, if someone has a global C of O, maybe the person does not just have the money to process governor consent for his or her own building or land. That's fine. At least the global C of O is okay. You can then do your own governor's consent if the person gives you deed of assignment and the likes, right? So those are the verification process that we carry out. We carry out an in-depth verification process to ensure that you are safe, right? And Also, if you want to buy a property that is listed on finenigerianproperty.com, on finenigerianproperty.com, you will not see an agent asking you for 30% commission or all those ridiculous, percentage. You can't see because we are self-regulated. We regulate what goes live. So if an agent comes and lists on our platform, we still look at it. If it's not in line with what the law says about agency fee, commission, and the likes in Nigeria, we don't approve of it. So when you come to us, you can be rest assured that we've done our own due diligence before we are telling you to go with this particular developer or go with this particular construction engineer. So it's like an all inclusive thing for us. Whether you want to build yourself, whether you want to buy into an off plan project, whether you want to sell your property or you want to put your property out for Airbnb, you want us to help you Airbnb, right? Am I correct? Shortlets, and you want us to help you manage it. We go through all that for you. And if you also want to subscribe to an off-plan project that is within FNP development platform, right? You will have access to the dashboard showing you month in, month out the development, the progress of the development. So, I mean, like Christine said, we are bridging the gap between developers and investors and ensuring that whatever we do is credible. I remember at our launch last year, the anchor, she said something very profound. She was like, how are you guys going to do this? It's a very, very porous market. And I said, it's a day at a time. We understand how deep rooted, the lack of credibility and all sorts is within the real estate space and I mean other spaces. But we also believe that, we just need to start. Every other person will catch up. Thank you, Christine.
I love that so much. All hope is not lost. We start the markets will catch up. I love it so much. Just to recap again, for those that are joining newly, the FNP webinar series we are on today is about the smart way to build or buy property abroad without losing money or getting scammed. We've had such an enriching conversation. All the speakers have contributed from their personal experience, from the market, given market insights, and FNP has come to show you how they get your trust. Practical ways they demonstrate trust and build your confidence as an investor looking to invest. They are big on advising, on end-to-end property management, on verification and due diligence, on ensuring that you are getting your money's worth. And also they are big on restoring the trust back into the real estate system. Okay, at this point, we'd like to take questions from our listeners. If you have any specific question you want to ask us, we'd like to take it. You want to direct questions to any speaker, you want to direct to our project consultant, Mrs. Tokwe, you want to direct to the architect or developer on the call, or you want to direct to Mrs. O herself would like to take your question. Let me just check through the chat box if there's an okay. I can see a comment. Also, would like you to know if you're thinking of real estate investment as a diasporan or as someone in Nigeria, right? Would like you to click the form in the chat box to fill the form and someone will get in touch with you. Our team will get in touch with you. A lot of the questions we are taking today and we are answering today again comes back to where do I start from? And how am I sure that the person I'm in business with has my best interest at heart when it comes to real estate investment? FNP is saying to you that our priority, in fact, call us your credibility partner. We go the extra mile, we go the ends of the earth to ensure that your project gets done and you have your desire when you partner with us. So one final question from me. I'll wait if any of the audience has a question. And I would like to take architect and Mrs. O's thoughts on it. So, as an investor, right? I'm investing my money into your project. And I trust you already. You've shown me a level of commitment, that I can get in business with you. um how do you help me take advantage of the MREEF option, that the if it's possible to me, is it going to be open to just diasporans, or is it also open to Nigerians that live in Nigeria as well? Like, what's payment options, or what money options are available to people that are thinking of going into real estate investment? I asked this question because one of the challenge people also encounter is, I mean, the real estate market is not cheap. It's bulky, it's capital intensive. So, like, for someone that is looking to go into real estate investment from a developer point of view and from FNP point of view, what are the money options that they can leverage and you can introduce to people on the call as well? Thank you, ma'am. I think architects should go for first before Mrs. O. Thank you.
Okay, Christine, thank you very much. But I'll need to be clear because you mentioned the MREF option. Are you asking questions about MREF also?
Yes,
Or
yes. What exactly is so, like, I'm just hearing about MREEF for the first time as an investor, for instance. What does it mean? How do I leverage it as well?
Okay, beautiful. So one of the things the operas will enjoy where they are at the moment is what we call the pay small small. Pay small small is mortgage. It is what that's a good that is given to you for a long term period to be able to get a house or any property of your choice. So now the loan option is uh, the mortgage. Now, MREF, which is the federal government initiative of bringing mortgage back into this country, because it has been there before. That's a fact. That's always been there, but mortgage banks didn't used to give loans. Now the federal government is back with this MREF, and MREF is your way of getting to buy a house that is verified by them. They've done all the due diligence. Since it's the federal government, I want to say we've trusted that they've done all the due diligence of the developer for them to be able to put it on their platform. It means the developers are skilled through all the hurdles of acquiring the land, getting building permits, and one of the advantages of MREF is that it is sure that any property that you're going for on their platform, on the MREF platform, is mortgageable. Now, for a property to be mortgageable, it means it must have building approval. I remember a time when we wanted to put some property on mortgage because some buyer said, "Oh, they want to buy using mortgage." Now, MREF asked the not MREF now the company that wanted to pay for this individual asked if there was building approval, which was their number one criteria. If there was no building approval, it's a no-no for them. If you remember what we were saying about documentation, And now, one of the things that Lagos has made building approval very good is they do a detailed check. A lot of things go into building approval. A lot of documentation is going to it. They come to verify the land. They make sure you have a survey. So some of those steps that you need to do is if you're buying a finished property or a carcass or whatever property was, as long as it's built, if it has a building approval that can be verifiable, at least 80% of your checks is done. Meaning Lagos State has done a majority for you to be able to tell you that, okay, this thing scales through to be able to be built. And when it is built and they have the building approval, because building approval these days doesn't come once, it's a step by step. Before you start foundation, you submit. When you're building the foundation, they come to check, they approve that stage. Next stage, they come for the suspended slab. So if you have 10 suspended slabs, Lagos State will come and check for every slab you're doing, which is the decking, what people call decking. They come to check, and if that approval is now complete and somebody tells you, oh, I have building approval and it is verified, I will say yes, that is one way to check for a property. Now, MREF has on their platform for basically you have to earn a minimum of about a 1.5 million naira monthly, if I'm not mistaken, but you can confirm that. And you have an option of paying for over 15 years. I think 15 to 20 years is the
20 years.
yeah, 20 years. Thank you. So you can pay up to 20 years. It means you can pay monthly or quarterly, but your agreement is going to be based on just like any loan. If you take a loan, there's a certain percentage that you cannot go beyond. If your salary is a million naira, you cannot take a loan beyond 30% of that salary because they expect you to be able to service other things that you have in your life. So they will only take 30%. So hence, you must be able to pay 30% of your income to be able to service that loan for the number of period that you have chosen. Now, there was something I was going to say concerning what Mrs. Obashimola was considering. And Mrs. O said it actually. She was talking about fake CFOs and legitimate CFOs. Now, one of the things is if a CFO is given, I need us to understand that CFO is 99 years. Now, every CFO you get is 99 years. Now, you might hear somebody wants to sell a property in Ikoyi, which is a highbrow area in Lagos, and the price for a plot of land that is not more than 1,000 square meter might be going for about 1.5 billion for 1,000 square meters, for example. And you find out that another place in Ikoyi, maybe not too far from that place, is also selling that same size of land, but for 800 million. And they tell you they have a CFO, they both have CFO. What is the difference? Sometimes it is not the type of soil under that land or the location of the land that matters. The CFO might have lost a lot of years. The one for 1.5 billion might still have about 70 years on it, while the one you think is cheap might have just 20 years. Or let's say, well, everybody maybe like about 40 years. Now, the difference in that year is a lot, and which is why the price might be different. So sometimes it might not totally be fake. It might just be the years that the CFO has. That's what I just wanted to clarify about the CFO being fake or not. But it is better if your landed property, house or land in Lagos State has governor's consent. It saves you a lot of headaches. Over to you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I just want to add to the conversation around MRIF. Especially for those in diaspora that are probably hearing about MRIF. So MRIF is MREIF. MREIF or MRIEF or something. So it's
Yeah, correct.
yes, I'm correct, right? So it's Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Finance Incorporated Real Estate Investment Fund. Yeah, so I mean, just like you have it outside the country where you can just subscribe to a mortgage and be paying little for your house yearly, and that's just the same thing. And I don't think it's going to be forever. I think it's just going to be for a while. I think federal government actually put out some fund for it, and once the fund is exhausted, there's nothing like MREF again. But the good part is for everyone that subscribe to it now, you are just going to be doing 9.75%, right? So the rate is just 9.75%, instead of, I think, about 37% that the normal commercial banks always give for their mortgage. I mean, that's actually a very, very good one for the government of Nigeria. And I know a lot of people in Nigeria that have subscribed to MREF. And the good part of it is that if you are a Nigerian in the diaspora, you can also subscribe to MREF. And Architect Hubert spoke about buying property from MREF platform. Yeah, that's one side. You can also buy your own property. It doesn't have to be from MREF platform. The property, just like he said, the property just has to have building approval, the right titles, governor's consent, C of O, as the case may be, have it. Then you can apply through your bank. Maybe when you were in Nigeria, you were using Providus or you were using GTB. If they have MREF partnership, you can apply. But if you want more information, you can reach out to us. There are some other mortgage banks, that you can also use, their platform. They just need to get your information, look at your earning capacity from there, and within 2 to 3 weeks, your money will be out if all the verification process is fine. And if, for instance, you are okay, so another thing I need to mention is the highest you can get is 100 million naira. The highest anybody can get is 100 million naira. Now, the allocation is now based on your earning capacity. So for people who are earning less than, maybe you are earning less than 2 million naira, for instance, in Nigeria, there's a particular amount you cannot even ask for. For people who are earning 1.5 and above, there's a particular amount. So they will give you based on your earning capacity. Even people who are not, doing 9 to 5, they can also benefit from MREF. You just must prove that you have a consistent source of income bringing in money, and I mean your money, you would be able to partake of MREF. So if you are outside, you can also be part of MREF, and we can put you through the process. Now, so that we wrap up this meeting tonight, I've said a lot about FNP. We've heard a lot about, the concerns of people in the diaspora about investing in property in Nigeria, and how FNP has come to, solve that problem. You've heard a lot from Architect Yuba about how those concerns are actually real. They are there. Like there are situations where you subscribe to a property, you will see property. I have a lot of people who have gone through that process where they subscribe to property, and even from reputable companies like Architect Hubert spoke about, people who are really, really advertising, rendering and 3D pictures on social media, and you just feel like it's a perfect place to go to, and at the end of the day, you are not going to get either the money or the property. However, we are here to solve that problem. You can chat with us, check us on our social media platform. There's a form that is going to be dropped, or is currently dropped, on the chat box. Please kindly help us fill it, especially for people in diaspora. I want to hear from you. Are you interested in off-plan project? You're interested in buying outrightly? Just reach out to us. We have all the answers, right? And for the ones that might seem like, oh, we need to get people in government. We have the network. We have people who would give you the right answers, whether for documentation, for title, whatever it is, right? And there's something I also wanted to mention is managed development. We have something we call managed development, right? If you could have a land in Nigeria and you need funding, you want to develop it, but you don't have the money, right? You can bring it to us, tell us about it. We would help you get JV partner. There are people who have money, but they also do not want to go and buy land, or maybe they don't have enough to buy and build, but they have enough to build. You can sign up with the JV partnership scheme on our managed development platforms, and you can start generating wealth through that. And there are so many things. Just go to findnigerianproperties.com and check it out. Please fill the form that is being dropped. And currently, we have some cluster development. If you are interested in a cluster development for diasporans, right? People in diaspora, I don't know if we've heard about or seen Amen Estate. I mean, was someone in the diaspora that came to Nigeria and developed that estate, for people in the diaspora. If you want to subscribe into stores, like we have stores like that maybe not only people in the diaspora are going to be, are going to be sold units there, but majorly people in the diaspora, you want to be part of a cluster development, and you just want to pay in like 12 months, 1 year, 1.5 years, as the case may be. We have stuff like that. So please kindly help us fill that form in the chat box. Tell us if you're interested in investing in property, what's your budget, which area you're looking at. I always tell people that it's not just about the property. The location is important. It's not every location that appreciates well. There are some locations in Lagos State that in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years, it's not like they are not appreciating, but the rate is so slow. So those are the conversations we would have with you when you reach out to us. Which location should you invest in? Even if you have 5 million, I'd rather say you even invest in like a cluster investment with a 5 million than buying land with 5 million naira in some location, because in another 10 years that land might not worth more than 5.5 million naira. So those are the conversations that we would have with you when you reach out to us. If we have any question for any of us,
Hi,
kindly.
Mrs. O. So please, someone is asking in the chat, especially for people that joined late, please tell us where can we find Nigerian properties across all your existing channels. Mrs. O, you're not muted. You're speaking, but you're not muted.
Sorry. So I don't think the question is clear, but you can go to findnigerianproperties.com online. Just our website is on. You can just type findnigerianproperties.com on Google, and it should bring up our website. You can ask us any question. You want to buy into an off-plan project, you can ask the question. Our numbers are there. Social media platforms. We're on Instagram as the official FNP. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. So you can, but the website is like the easiest one. You can just go to findnigeriaproperties.com. Just put that on Google and you would see us there. Yes, if that is the question, I hope I answered that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
All
Yes,
right.
you did. Thank you so much, everyone. This has been an enriching and fantastic conversation. Thank you, Mrs. Temitope Obashimola. Thank you so much for a fantastic and enriching conversation. Thank you, Architect Huber. And of course, thank you, Mrs. O, for an enriching conversation. I hope we've done justice to the topic. Can I get a reaction? Can I get a reaction? I hope we did justice to the topic and I hope we answered all of your questions. Please let me get a reaction. Let me know. Thank you. If we did justice to the topic, I'm trying to go through the comment section as well. If there's anything in there. All right. Thank you for the feedback, Hilda. Yes, it was insightful. Thank you, Michael. Very well. Thank you. We appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much. Till the next time we come your way, we remain what, Mrs. O? We are Fine Nigeria Properties.
Yeah, FineNigerianProperties.com, your credibility partner in anything real estate. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Mrs. Obashimola. Thank you, Architect Huber. Thank you, Christine, our wonderful moderator. Thank you, everyone. So go to FineNigerianProperties.com and ask us all your questions regarding investing in real estate in Nigeria. Thank you, everyone, for joining the call tonight. See you next month. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
See you next month.